everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed their Mother's Day weekend. I stayed busy all weekend intentionally because if you've watched this channel long enough, you know that I try to be positive all the time and never let negative thoughts enter my mind. And I'm talking on a personal level, not a sports level. Sports level is different. I'm talking about on a personal level. I try to always think positive and not talk negative. Good morning, Kevron. Glad to have you here on this Monday morning, wherever you are and whatever you may be doing. But this was my 13th year without my mother, so Mother's Day is always hard for me because how do you not think about your mother on Mother's Day? So every year on Mother's Day and Mother's Day weekend, I stay busy on purpose. So I had wrestling Saturday night, and of course church yesterday. Then after church, went out to eat with some church members, and then went back to their house, watched Backlash. Got home late last night and went to bed, so the weekend was over with. So now the negative thoughts are out of my mind. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their Mother's Day weekend, though. And for all of you that have kids or grandkids, I hope you're preparing for summer because for most schools and most kids, school is out within the next 2 weeks. So it's about time to start thinking about what you're going to do with the kiddos at home for the next 2.5 months until school starts back. But today here on the channel, I want to talk, what do people expect and what did they expect? That's coming up here in a few minutes. But first, I want to tell you quickly that you missed another phenomenal SWA show Saturday night at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia. Hey there, Marcus. I'm glad to have you here as we continue to build to our next SWA big show, which is coming up in July. And by the time it gets here, we're going to have a lineup stacked full of great matches. We had another debut Saturday night, and I'll be back at that same building this week at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia, for CMW Carolina Main Event Wrestling returns to East Denali, Georgia. Saturday night, a lot of the same wrestlers, but a lot of different wrestlers. So if you live in North Georgia, Northeast Georgia, or upstate South Carolina, come on out Saturday night, 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia, and check out some independent wrestling. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and bell time will be 7 o'clock. But my title of the video, talking about what do people expect and what did they expect. Of course, just talking about Backlash that took place Saturday night. You know, it's only been 3 weeks since WrestleMania. You really can't do a whole lot and build a whole lot in 3 weeks. So if anybody went into Saturday night thinking Backlash was going to be some A-plus level premium live event, that's on you. You're the dummy. Because there's just no way you can prepare a whole lot and do a whole lot in 3 weeks' time. It's pushing too much. I know they call it Backlash because it's supposed to be the Backlash from WrestleMania, but I honestly would have almost been better off if they'd have skipped it. I'd have been fine with it because I didn't expect much going in, and I got about what I expected, which was not a whole lot, especially with them doing 2 more premium live events next month. You know, to me, if I ran it, I would have just skipped the Backlash altogether and moved the first premium live event that's next month, which I believe is Money in the Bank. I would have moved it up about 2 weekends and had it this upcoming weekend, or maybe the next weekend, And then I would have had Night of Champions at its regular date coming up on June 28th, which, by the way, hey there, Ricky. Glad to have you here. Speaking of June 28th, I know this really awesome, handsome, good looking man that has a birthday that weekend. But I would have moved Money in the Bank up a couple of weeks and had it in May and then had Night of Champions in June instead of having Backlash 3 weeks after WrestleMania and then having two more PLEs next month. But I'm not the booker. I don't run it, so I don't make that decision. But knowing that it's only 3 weeks from WrestleMania, if you expected much, you're crazy. And I got, like I said, about what I expected. They had 5 matches, and they had to be done by 10 o'clock Eastern Time because UFC had a huge pay per view at 10 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday night. And ever since both companies have been owned by the same people, they try now to where if they're both running on the same Saturday night to make sure WWE is done by 10 o'clock so that you're not having both of your big time companies doing a show at the same time. So it's either start at 7 and be done by 10 o'clock, or it's go back to the old days and move your premium live events to Sunday night. I can recall growing up in the Attitude Era when it was pay-per-views and they were on Sunday nights. And when I was in school, I can recall some of the kids that watched wrestling with me coming to school on Monday morning, either complaining because they were tired or saying their mom and dad made them go to bed the night before at 9 or 9:30 because they had school the next day, so they didn't get to stay up till 11 o'clock and watch it. Because back in those days, when they were pay-per-views, they started at 8 o'clock. So they were on till 11 or 11:30. So now the good news is when they're on Saturday nights, they go till 11 o'clock. Not a big deal. Nobody has school, and most folks don't work the next morning. Only a few folks work on Sundays, but they are out there, but not many people have to. So now with them being on Saturday nights, if UFC is also running, you either got to be done by 10 or you've got to start a whole lot earlier, which is the reason why they only had 5 matches, which was good because those 5 matches took 2.5 hours. If memory serves, when I went back and watched Backlash yesterday afternoon, it was 2.5 hours, which means when it came on at 7 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday night, it was on till 9:30. So that gave everybody 30 minutes to get ready for the UFC pay-per-view, which started at 10 o'clock. It's also funny that people always complain about wrestling pay-per-views or premium live events go until 11 or 11:30, but UFC doesn't start till 10, so obviously theirs are on till 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Nobody cares about that, but you let wrestling go past 10:30 and, oh my gosh, it's on too late. Anyway, 5 matches. Jacob Fatu retains in the fatal match to open the show. It's about what I expected. Good match. They made Jacob Fatu look strong, which is good because he is a phenomenal wrestler. I've said this numerous times already. I think he's the best wrestler in the whole family. It's not even close. He's the best wrestler they've got. A lot of them are only there because of their name or because of their look. Jacob Fatu is there because the dude can flat out wrestle. Lyra Valkyria retains against Becky Lynch. And I didn't think they were going to have Lyra lose there, but you never know. They love Becky Lynch. And I swear, every time I see Becky Lynch, she gets uglier. But Lyra Valkyria retains. The only thing I wish they hadn't have done was show Lyra Valkyria's, I guess, boyfriend in the crowd. Because I get it if y'all been married for a long time. I get it if he's also a wrestler. But they're not married yet, and he's not famous. So keep Lyra's personal life out of it. Don't show her boyfriend on TV. I didn't get that. Didn't understand it. Didn't like it. But outside of that, nothing really special. Dominic Mysterio retains. And they're trying their best to make Dominic Mysterio a heel. And I understand it because he's supposed to be one. And that's why he came out Saturday night. The Judgment Day members came out to the ring with him. Then, of course, later on, they're going to get involved, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then El Grande Americano comes out there and helps Dominic win. And the main reason they're doing that is because when Dominic Mysterio won at WrestleMania, the crowd went crazy. And I know it's hard not to cheer him because the guy seems like an awesome dude. In all the videos I've seen and watched of him talking, he seems like the most genuine, humble person that you could meet. And I've read articles about how cool of a guy Dominic is, but, on character, on screen, on TV, he's supposed to be a bad guy. But when he won at WrestleMania, the crowd went crazy. Well, that doesn't work because you're in a heel faction and you're a heel wrestler, so you're supposed to get booed. So they're having Judgment Day interfere and El Grande Americano interfere, hoping the crowd will boo Dominic for winning, and that way it makes him heel again. So I understood that. The Gunther Pat McAfee match, of course, Gunther made Pat McAfee look good because Gunther could make a pillow look good. He's the best wrestler alive today. Randy Orton's the best wrestler ever, but Gunther's the best wrestler alive today. Now that Randy Orton's kind of sort of past his prime, but Randy Orton's the best wrestler of all time. But the match is about what I expected. I mean, if anybody thought that Pat McAfee's beating Gunther, you're out of your mind. That's not going to happen. And then in the main event, for the 975th time, we get John Cena and Randy Orton. This time they played it off great because they let Randy Orton RKO like 75 people. Okay, it wasn't that many. I'm exaggerating some, but it was quite a few. And they're doing this to make Randy Orton look strong. I understood that. I get that. But of course, John Cena's not going to win the belt at WrestleMania and then lose it 3 weeks later. So if you thought Cena was losing, you're out of your mind. But in my personal opinion, and if you're a wrestling fan, you can give me your thoughts on this. In my personal opinion, I firmly believe the only way this whole Cena thing makes sense is for his last match, he drops the belt to Cody Rhodes. Now, do I know that? No, but to me, that's the only way this whole thing makes sense because there's no way that you're going to take John Cena, who's been the most beloved wrestler in the history of the company with the exception of Hulk Hogan back in the 80s. But in the modern era, there's no doubt that John Cena is the most beloved wrestler in the company, has been for 20 plus years. There's no way that I believe he's going to leave as a bad guy. It's not going to happen. He's got to turn babyface again somewhere between now and the time he leaves. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. He's not going to turn babyface again next month. That's not a long enough heel turn. But you're not going to leave as a heel when they've loved you for 20 plus years. He's got to turn good again between now and the time he leaves. I think the only way it makes sense is for his last match, which I'm assuming is going to be in December. He drops the belt to Cody Rhodes, gets up, hugs Cody Rhodes, raises Cody's hand, shakes his hand, walks out. And then Cody gets the belt back, and then Cena gets cheered again before he leaves. That's what I think will happen. I don't know that, and there's no telling. They want you to guess because when you're guessing, that means you're involved. That means you're entrenched. That means you care. So they want you guessing. So obviously I care because I'm thinking about 7 months down the road. But I think everybody knows by now I'm a wrestling fan, so of course I care because it's wrestling. But to me, that's the only way this whole thing makes sense because we know that they're making Cody Rhodes now to be the modern day supreme babyface that everybody loves. So what better way to do that than Cena's last match? You beat him, you get the belt back, Cena hugs you, shakes your hand, raises your hand, and walks out. That would make Cody the supreme babyface. So that's my opinion on what happens. Now, whether or not that's what happens, I have no earthly idea, but that's what I think will happen. I'm going to try my best to come back on here tonight and do a second video. If not, I apologize, but I want to make up for not doing one this weekend. If I do one tonight, it won't be about wrestling. It'll be something totally different. Well, let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. At the arts and crafts department, they had a contest as to who can make the best silk neckwear. It ended up a tie. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 30. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.